Enough is enough. Ottawa hikes students' visa financial onus. Threatens limits. This is so unfortunate po. Sa totoo lang, there's a lot of ongoing announcement about international students. I believe we have enjoyed to anyone right now na nandito as an international student. We enjoyed the leniency, we enjoyed the program for the past years kasi may mga na-PR doon because of pandemic. May mga na-extend yung kanilang open work permit because of the pandemic and backlog against sa immigration system. However, this time, there are a lot of ongoing announcement about student visas or international students. That's because yung mga nangyayaring mga unscrupulous characters out there, also yung mga agency, they call themselves agency, and mga school, they accept a lot of international student kahit na hindi po nila kayang i-accommodate lahat. So, ang dami pong mga politicians na or other characters dito sa situation na to na sinisisi po nila yung mga international students because of the housing market. Hindi po yun totoo. Sa totoo lang, I would like to read from Global News yung announcement ni Miller, which is the Minister of Immigration. Let me read this. The federal government is roughly doubling the amount of money international students need to prove they have in order to get a study permit, says Immigration Minister Mark Miller. He is also threatening that if provinces and post-secondary institutions fail to act, he will look at significantly limiting visas before next fall. So, ibig sabihin po, before next fall, pag hindi po ginawa ng provinces and post-secondary institution yung kanilang gustong i-implement, then significantly limiting visas. So, by the end of the fall, pag na-fail po yung ini-expect nilang mag-perform ng tama at saka maayos-ayos na trabaho ng mga secondary school at saka provinces, then they have no choice. The federal government will have no choice to actually limit the issuance of student visa. So, he also said that the 20 hours a week work limit on international students, which was temporarily lifted last year, will be extended until April 30, 2024. So, may extend po yun. Previously, itong January 1, 2024, yun ang sinasabi na yung starting January 1, 2024, hindi na sila pwedeng mag-work ng more than 20 hours. But, today, they announced that yung 20 hours a week will be extended sa mga international students until April 30, 2024. I'll continue. Ahead of September 2024, that's next year or next month, malapit na 2024, but that will gonna be on the fall season, which is September. Sabi nila, we are prepared to take necessary measures, including significantly limiting visas to ensure that designated learning institutions provide adequate and sufficient student support, he said. Minister Miller told the press on Thursday, which is today. It is imperative that we work together with provincial and territorial governments, learning institutions, and other education stakeholders so we can ensure international students are set up for success in Canada, Miller told reporters in Ottawa. He added, enough is enough. If provinces and territories cannot do this, we will do it for them, and they will not like the bluntness of the instruments that we use. That's what Miller told to the reporters. Miller's comments show a marked shift in tone on the matter, even as he noted it would be a mistake to blame international students for the housing crisis. But it also be a mistake to invite them to come to Canada with no support, including how to put a roof over their heads. That's why we expect learning institutions to only accept numbers of students that they're able to provide for, able to house, or assist in finding off-campus housing. Currently, an applicant to Canada needs to show at least $10,000 in their bank account to prove that they can keep up the cost of living in Canada. In 2024, this amount will be raised to $20,635. This amount would be on top of the tuition fee that international students pay. Meaning, kung ang international student pay is 20,000 plus 20,000 plus na pambuhay nila dito sa Canada. International students already in Canada, as well as applicants who have already submitted an application for a study permit as of today, December 7, 2023, will be able to work off campus more than 20 hours per week until April 2024. Sabi pa nito dito, I'm continuing, we are also exploring options to ensure that students find adequate housing. These long overdue changes will protect international students from financially vulnerable situations and exploitation, he said, according to a survey by the Daily Bread Food Bank released in September. Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada's estimated living expense overuse during the application process is nearly half of what a student in Toronto typically spends. When applying for a study permit, a prospective international student must show proof of financial support. This means they must be able to show they can support themselves in Canada. If an applicant intends to bring a family member with them, they must also show an additional $4,000 or $333 per month. For every additional family member, they must show $3,000 or $255 per month. And that should be times 12 because it should be 1 year. Okay, so the 20-hour work permit rule was removed after migrant student workers spoke up but just for 4 months. We don't need monthly improvisation and chaotic twists that let exploitation and abuse continue. We will continue to speak for the stable, fair rule and permanent residency for all. At the same time, the federal government just doubled the financial requirements for study permit, effectively creating a cap and excluding prospective working class students worldwide who will now be scrambling in the next 3 weeks to find an extra $10,000. Ngayon po, ang balita po na to is ang mga estudyanteng papasok na dito starting today, December 7, 2023, pahirapan na po ang pagpunta dito. You have before, honestly, I don't even ask for an international student client to show at least whatever money or amount of money in their bank account. Now, if you're coming here as an international student, you have to show at least $40,000 to $50,000 amount of money from your bank account bago kayo nila i-approve. But again, wala pa pong guarantee yon. So, medyo humirap na po ngayon. So, yung mga taong gusto pong pumunta dito as international student, please wag na po kayong magpatumpik-tumpik to come here. Decide right away. Ano na ngayon? December 7, tapos na po. I encourage everyone before, do it when you want to come here in Canada. Do it as soon as possible. You don't actually be in two minds if you really want to come to Canada as international student. Kasi right now, honestly, it will gonna be so difficult. But again, wala naman pong mahirap kung talagang gusto nyo, especially if you have your relatives who wants to invite you here and they can actually support you. So that can be added. But again, I will recommend this time, I will accept an application for student permit pagka meron kayong pera o show money sa Pilipinas. So, however, there's another way of that. Kung yung mag-sponsor sa inyo na kamag-anak ay mayroong ganong pera doon sa bangko or notice of assessment, especially bank account, checking or savings, then we can definitely waive that money from the bank account ng mga aplikante. So, there's still a way, guys. So, again, don't lose hope. I hope everyone have a good night. God bless. Bye-bye.
a mistake to blame international students for the housing crisis, but it'd also be a mistake to invite them to come to Canada with no support, including how to put a roof over their heads. It's why we expect learning institutions to only accept a number of students that they're able to provide for, able to house, or assist in finding off-campus housing. In welcoming international students, we have a responsibility to make sure that students are supported when they come to our country. We also want to ensure that international students don't become victims of unscrupulous individuals who offer them inadequate living conditions, sometimes even at inflated prices. Ahead of September 2024, we are prepared to take necessary measures, including significantly limiting visas to ensure that designated learning institutions provide adequate and sufficient student supports as part of the academic experience. In order to achieve this result, it is imperative that we work together with provincial and territorial governments, learning institutions, and other education stakeholders so we can ensure international students are set up for success in Canada. Enough is enough. If provinces and territories cannot do this, we will do it for them, and they will not like the bluntness of the instruments that we use. Our aim is to strike the right balance between welcoming international students and making sure they have all they have and all they need to thrive.